two up there. Two up there.
Marked remaining operators without status. Hunt them down.
What's up, Vaqueros, and welcome back to another shotgun video. And today we are going to be continuing the trend of the speed demon builds, and we are going to be going over the new and improved Expedite 12. This shotgun has been up and coming for a while. It's finally in an awesome place to use it, and today is going to be focused on the Expedite, but with speed in mind as our primary factor. And who knows, we might even put a barrel on this thing. Who would have thought? So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and stick around because we're going to go into the class setup now, and then I'll talk about the build and my overall thoughts on it later. So here is the build that I am rocking for the fastest Expedite build I can get. Now do note this isn't the fastest total because there is an attachment that is in the muzzle category. I think it's the Vulture Claw Breacher. I mentioned this before in the Bryson 800 speed demon build, but essentially you can rock that Claw Breacher if you want to get a little bit more forward speed and strafe speed. It's okay, but I'd much rather have a Bryson choke for consistency's sake. So for this one we are rocking a barrel and a guard, which we don't normally do, and of course the resonance stock collapse stock and the Expedite elbow, which is mandatory for using this thing because it helps with your rate of fire and therefore your time to kill. Now if we go to sim.gg and do a quick little comparison between the 800, 890 and the Expedite 12 speed demon builds, you'll see that the 890 of course comes out on top every time, pretty much in every category, but the Expedite 12 is actually just above the Bryson 800 in most of these categories. So on average this is going to be a faster shotgun than the Bryson 800, which is cool to see. But again, it's not nearly as fast as the 890. That thing is just, like I said before, in a league of its own. So in terms of other attachments you could use, now in the barrel category, you have another barrel you could use if you wanted to, which is the 14-inch shorty barrel. Now the reason I choose the Emperor barrel is because with the Emperor barrel, all you really lose is your 2 shotgun shells, so you only have 5 rounds. That's a pretty big thing about this build, is that you only get 5 rounds, but it's not terrible. It's good in solos and duos, I'd say, because most of your kills are 2 to 3 shots, generally 2 if you're up close, but a lot of situations this is probably better for one-on-one engagement, so just keep that in mind. But the reason I chose the Emperor barrel mainly is because you get the same speed boost as a shorty barrel, but with the shorty barrel you do lose a little bit of range, but that's not really the big reason. It's mainly because for me the aim down sight spread penalty that you get with the shorty barrel is a little too much for my taste. Now with the Emperor barrel you don't lose any spread at all. Now if you're using a hipfire build, the shorty barrel may be better for you because it does help with your max and moving hipfire spread, and then of course if you wanted to you could swap the Bryson choke out for like the .G3P laser, which again helps with your max and moving hipfire spread. But me personally, I found that build when I rocked it wasn't nearly as consistent because the Bryson choke combined with the Emperor barrel gives you even better of an aim down sight spread, and this gun in particular, the Expedite 12, is a bit inconsistent. I've noticed it's kind of wonky. Sometimes it takes 3 to 4 shots when you feel like it should take 2 or even 3. So it's a little odd in that sense. And what really helps, especially if you're at range, is aiming down sights. And when you use that shorty barrel with something like the .G3P laser, you're just not getting a good enough aim down sight spread for my taste to where it's consistent enough. So personally, I prefer using the Emperor barrel with the Bryson choke. If you want to go the hipfire focused route, you can use the shorty barrel and the .G3P laser, or you could even rock the barrel with the Bryson choke if you wanted to. I just, like I said, like the aim down sight spread from the Emperor barrel with the Bryson choke. With this build, you want to be getting as close as you can and try to get those 2 shots as much as possible, and the speed really does help with that. But there are going to be situations where you get caught with your pants down, so to speak, where they're maybe like 8 meters out or something like that, where you can definitely 3-shot them, of course, but if you don't have that nice tight pellet spread when you're aiming down sights and you're just going to rely on hip firing, it's not going to be tight enough to get a 3-shot kill, and you're going to die. It's going to take 4 or 5 shots. You're going to run out of ammo, and people are just going to melt you. This thing, you have to aim down sights when you're pushing range, and that's why I recommend that Emperor barrel with the Bryson choke. This is something that you either want to be up close and personal hip fire and get the 2-shot, or aim down sights and go for those 3-shot kills as much as possible. Like I said, it's a pretty inconsistent shotgun if you're not in that max damage range. It can take anywhere from 3 to 5 shots at times. It's a little weird. This is mostly going to be a build for solos and duos, I think. Mainly for solos, but in duos you can kind of make it work with 2 shots. And it's actually a little fun because you kind of have to balance it out. Get your 2-shot, slide around cover and jump around cover, and then get your other 2-shot. It's a lot of fun. I really like that cat and mouse gameplay with this thing. And it is a good build overall just because of that good movement speed. As for my thoughts overall on this build, I do enjoy it a lot. It is fun to run around with this thing guns blazing and go super quick and just two-shot people. It's a lot of fun, and it's going to really help having that good movement speed to kind of challenge people around corners and jump shot and all that good stuff. Having a good movement speed will help. I do wish that some of these barrels, like the polarized barrel I mentioned, or I think I actually mentioned the shorty barrel. That was a mistake. I meant to say the polarized barrel, so just keep that in mind. But the Emperor barrel and the polarized barrel, I wish they didn't take away 2 shells from your tube. It's just kind of annoying. I really wish they didn't. It makes it really only viable in solos and duos. It's not that bad in duos, but it is noticeably harder to use in something with 7 rounds like it has by default. But with that being said, guys, that's just about going to do it for this video. So let me know down below in the comments, what do you think about this build? What do you think about the Expedite? What's your favorite barrel to run on this thing if you do rock one at all? And with all that being said, I will see you in the next video.